March 30th was the day that I hit 100 pounds down. And as soon as I hit that, like, it was like I hit a brick wall. And all of a sudden I was craving all the foods that I hadn't eaten in months. And I was trying to cheat on my, program, eating things that were just not great for me and too much of the things that were good for me, and just like going down a weird path. And I realized that there was some emotional stuff and some old trauma that was coming up to heal.
You are now tuned in.
You are now tuned in to Let's Talk About Healing.
I recognize that I wanted to come out of that deep, dark place I was in.
Like the story that we are repeating over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
We can change it.
Yeah.
I went in with an open mind, an open heart, and I said, you know what? I'm willing to learn the truth about all of this because I don't understand.
Now here's your host, Yvonne Pierre.
Hello and welcome to season 2 of Let's Talk About Healing. If you haven't heard season 1, please do yourself a favor and go check it out. Binge on the episodes. The links are on my link tree, and that is linkte.ee/Let's Talk About Healing. And it's no spaces, of course. In season 1, I spoke with a range of guests, and we talked about a variety of topics on healing the mind, body, and spirit. The conversations in this season are going to be just as amazing. Today, I look forward to the conversation that I'll be having with my guest, Jennifer Haynes, the owner of Heart of Peace Wellness, an online holistic healing and learning center with a physical office that serves the community in Holbrook, Massachusetts. She has been helping others on their emotional and physical healing journeys for over 12 years. She has her master's as a mental health counselor, licensed massage therapist, certified health kinesiology practitioner and instructor, nutritional health coach, and shape reclaimed practitioner. And I want to just jump right in. Jennifer, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's so nice to be here.
And, we all there's always a story behind starting anything that we pour our heart and our energy into. So I'm just curious to know what inspired you to get into this line of work and to launch Heart of Peace Wellness.
Oh, it's a really long story, but I will try to truncate it for you. I've always been interested in helping people heal. Mm-hmm. When I was real little, my mom used to call me Nurse Jen because anytime anybody was sick, I was right there to do anything I could to make them feel better. I fell on a house antenna when I was 5 years old. And so my mom had to kind of pull me off of that and bring me to the emergency room. At the time, the emergency room just put a backboard on me to stabilize movement and put stitches in. They didn't do any imaging to make sure the inside of my body was okay and just sent me on my way. So then years later, I developed severe gut issues and I went through a lot of trauma in the medical community, trying to find out what was going on. So I was finally diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, and irritable bowel disease, a trifecta of wonderful. So they put me on medications. I was on 12 different pills a day, and they told me in 3 months, if that didn't work, they were going to have to do major surgery to remove a portion of my colon to prevent dead gut. Don't Google that. It is not awesome. Just trust me when I say you don't want to do that.
Wow.
Especially when you're 12 years old. So my parents were like, well, that's an invasive approach. I wonder if there's something else that can be done. And so the two of them decided to bring me to a chiropractor of all places. And that completely changed the trajectory of my life. I wanted to be a doctor until that moment. And with 3 chiropractic adjustments, all of my symptoms went away.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really amazing. And I knew then that holistic therapy and treatment was the way to go for me. So I got my pre-med bachelor's degree and I moved out to Iowa from Massachusetts, which was quite a difference, in order to go to chiropractic school. And while I was at chiropractic school, I learned about kinesiology and fell completely in love with kinesiology. So I left chiropractic school to focus exclusively on kinesiology. And I was able to do a lot of healing for myself to kind of continue the momentum. But I've always had an issue with my weight. And that was a big problem ongoing. And I just kept helping people, even though I wasn't really effectively helping myself. I was giving people a lot of really great sage advice on how to heal themselves and then not following it for myself. So I would say probably about 7 years ago, my business transformed from just massage and kinesiology to everything that I do now. And that's when I actually opened up shop in a chiropractor office and in a spa doing the work that I do as Heart of Peace Wellness. And then last year, I was finally pushed out of the nest by the owner of the salon that I had worked at. I started working there full time because it was a really great space, and it was where I was getting the most responsiveness from clients. And so I moved. When I was there, I was kind of planning on being there forever, and then she sold the business, and the business went in a different direction. They just do exclusively hair now. They're fantastic. But it was just clear that I was no longer a good fit there. And so she kind of like forced me to my own space. And so right down the street from the salon that I used to work at, I now have my own brick and mortar, and I do all of the things that I'm doing for myself now with my clients.
Sometimes that's what it takes. Sometimes it takes that extra push to do what's meant for us to do.
Yes.
All the years that you had to endure, and that inspired you to really get involved and to help other people. That's really commendable.
Thank you.
And you mentioned that you were helping all these other people, but you weren't taking your own advice. Can you share with us your story and what that journey was like?
Yeah, absolutely. So last year, I was diagnosed with a whole host of things. I moved while I was growing my brick and mortar wellness business. I moved personally back into the realm of the medical community because I felt like the symptoms and problems that I were having were actually beyond my control at that point. And so I was diagnosed with ADHD, given medicine that I was allergic to. I was diagnosed with diabetes, given medicine that I was allergic to. I was diagnosed with high blood pressure, given medicine that I was allergic to. And it was quite a roller coaster. And I had gotten to a place where all of the doctors just kind of said, your problems are because of your weight. So you need to take these medications until you make a lifestyle change. And then just kind of set me on my way. So in November 1st, it was a turning point for me. And I refound Shape Reclaimed, and it's a company that's out of Missouri, and they're absolutely amazing. It's a combination of an anti-inflammatory diet with a powerhouse supplement that's just drops that you put under your tongue 1 to 3 times a day, depending on what you need. And every single thing that I offer my clients, I do try first to make sure that it's beneficial and helpful to them. So I got on myself, and from November 1st to January 1st, I had already lost over 50 pounds.
Wow.
And so I was like, okay, this is for real. This is great. And I feel better. My diabetes went away. My blood pressure went away. I had long COVID symptoms. Those went away. The stomach stuff that I had dealt with as a child, after those 3 chiropractic adjustments, they re-diagnosed just IBS. They were like, oh, you must have had a really serious case of IBS. And now it's fine. So just be cautious of what you're eating, and kind of left me alone at that. So there were times, especially when I was not eating the best quality foods, that I would still have like irritable bowel type flares, and that's all gone now. So Shape Reclaimed was like truly magnificent for me in my life. And so I started putting my clients on it as well in January. And I'm still working on it and working towards my goals. So I've now lost a little over 100 pounds with
Wow.
this program. And like all the symptoms of everything is gone. I used to have pretty severe back pain because I was close to 400 pounds. With that weight comes a lot of strain on the muscles and joints. I had some herniated discs that were just not loving the extra weight. So now that I've lost 100 pounds, like that, my whole world is different, and I'm just sharing it with everyone. The most fun part is March 30th was the day that I hit 100 pounds down, and as soon as I hit that, like it was like I hit a brick wall. All of a sudden I was craving all the foods that I hadn't eaten in months. And I was trying to cheat on my, program, eating things that were just not great for me and too much of the things that were good for me, and just like going down a weird path. And I realized that there was some emotional stuff and some old trauma that was coming up to heal. And so I did a ton of work around it. I did somatic experiencing, which is fantastic. I did breath work, which is great. I did mental health counseling, obviously fantastic. But nothing was really making a huge dent. So then I turned to the Shape Reclaimed people again. They have what they kind of jokingly call therapy in a box. It's called Self Reclaimed. And it's a program that has 33 tenets that you can kind of work through to discover limiting beliefs and then to remove those limiting beliefs. And so in a moment of desperation, I picked up that book and I did the first page, and immediately all of my intense food cravings went away. And I just knew that this was the program that I needed to lose the next 100 pounds, because I do ultimately want to lose 200 total pounds. So now this emotional program is helping me do that. So I'm going to create a program around it, since I'm a mental health counselor, and I'll be actually offering that to clients starting October 2nd. I'm really excited.
Wow. Wow. What a mouthful. What a journey. I too have been dealing with health issues and weight. And I also have moments where I'll lose 5 pounds and then I'll gain 6, because I'll get to a certain weight and I'm consistent and I'm working out, and then I start sabotaging. And I realized too that it's more than just what we're eating or knowing what to do. Because I think most people know what to do. But as far as eating right, chips is not what you should eat. But it's about, even on my journey, my health and weight loss journey, I've learned that it's beyond what we're putting in our mouths, is what we're putting in our spirit and in our mind. And having to unravel dealing with whatever the past traumas or whatever the side effects of things that I dealt with in the past, and how it's having a hold on me today. But I commend you also as a professional to look at, or to recognize that you weren't listening to your own advice. And that's commendable, because I don't have the statistics on that, but a lot of people struggle with looking in the mirror and accepting, okay, even as a parent, not taking our own advice that we're giving our children.
Yes.
We know wrong from right, and we tell them wrong from right, but there have been times that I didn't do it. Like for years I smoked cigarettes, but I didn't want my kids to smoke, But we don't realize that we're teaching by example. But I just wanted to take a moment to say, okay, in that moment when you realize that you weren't taking your own advice,
Yeah.
Like I mentioned, the hardest part is looking in the mirror. Why was it critical for you to do that?
Oh, because I felt like a fraud. I mean, even though people were leaving my office happy and coming back and seeing, their pain go away and seeing all of these magnificent changes in their world, when they expressed their gratitude, I felt unworthy of it because it wasn't me doing the work. They were doing the work. I was just kind of letting them know the best course of action, so that I was then going home and, stopping at Wendy's for a meal on the way home before I went and had dinner with my family. I just felt like it was disingenuous. And so finally in November, I mean, it took a lot. Like I was having ridiculous heart palpitations that I thought I was having a heart attack on multiple occasions.
Yeah.
Because I was just, my body was telling me that I wasn't okay and I was just ignoring it. So, that was the real thing that did it. Like I wanted to be healthy for my clients. I want to be healthy for my son and for my family. So that was the driving force that was finally like, just take your own good advice, Jen.
But was it that simple?
Oh gosh, no. I've talked to myself about that for years.
So the accountability part and saying, okay, I know what to do because not only I have degrees, multiple degrees and certifications to know exactly what to do. And that feeling that, like you said, feeling like a fraud, how did you get past that? I'm trying to think how I want to phrase the question because a lot of people may be at that point where they feel like a fraud or they feel because I've been through imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
I've had imposter syndrome. And just having to deal with that feeling is a process. How did you face that feeling? Like, how did you recognized it, but how did you turn the page from that? Like, how did you get to the point where you like, okay, let me listen to my own advice? Because as far as me, I've been there as far as, in different areas of my life where I wasn't taking my own advice or whatever, but the process to turn that boat it could take some time. And once you acknowledge it, that's the beginning of the process. That don't mean you jump right straight into, okay, let me listen to me. It takes a process because there's something that's preventing you from listening. There's something deeper that's happening to prevent you from listening to yourself, whether it's hopelessness, self-doubt. There's some emotional attachment. So I want you to kind of paint a picture for someone that may be in that phase of, yes, they recognize it, but they don't know what to do next.
Sure. So the number one thing I really committed to, even before I started going to the medical doctors and going on that particular journey, I just decided that I really needed to be true to my word, and that when I committed to do something for myself, I needed to do it like I was doing it for someone else, because I would overcommit myself in order to help other people heal, and that alone can be really overwhelming for your own body, because you need to know when enough is enough for yourself. So the two things that I would say is to honor your commitments and create really good, strong boundaries, because that's the two best things that you can do for yourself, especially when you're people pleasing, rather than focusing on self-care. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is there in my nutritional health coaching program that I took 8 years ago. Gosh, maybe even longer now. But the big thing that they say there is that we focus on crowding out. So we don't replace things. We don't tell you can't have things. We just recommend that you try the best stuff first. So if you like eating or drinking 2 liters of pop a day, good for you. Enjoy it. But just have an 8-ounce glass of water first. You know, if you really want that cupcake, eat the cupcake, enjoy the cupcake, but have some carrots too. You know, just like enjoy what you love, but also do the things that you need. And the more that you do the things that you need, the more your body will crave the things that you need, and you're going to get healthier by default.
Yes, I love that. You mentioned that you lost 100 pounds, and oh my God, that's amazing. I'm struggling to lose 10. And I mentioned we often know what we should and shouldn't eat. What clicked for you to make you say, that's it? This is it. You know, we talked about as far as you listening to your own advice and stuff like that, but what clicked as far as the weight loss that made you stick to it? Because like in the past, not even in the past, now, like I mentioned earlier, I'll go really hard, focused, determined, extreme, insane discipline, but I'll do it for a certain period of time and then I'll revert back to default. But what made you, when you got to that point, what clicked for you that kept you on track?
So I'll say in my experience that usually when you hit that wall, when you end up reverting, it's either because you're chemically deficient, meaning there's not enough, you're not getting something in the nutrients that you're eating that you need. So sometimes supplementation can be helpful for that. And then the other thing is sometimes that brick wall is straight up trauma. It's stuff that your body is like, you're healthy enough to heal this. So now you have to pay attention to this. And so the first time, like in November, when I was able to commit and just like without blinking, stay vigilant through the holidays, because I only had a quote unquote cheat day on Thanksgiving and on Christmas Day. Otherwise, I was incredibly consistent, which I've never, ever been able to do before. So I think I just happened to get to a place where I had healed my stuff enough that I was able to lose that first 100 pounds. And then boom. After that 100 pounds, my body was like, nope, reset. There's trauma here. You're healthy enough to fix it. Now you have to do that. And so I had to put a pause on my wellness, my weight loss journey in order to focus on my mental emotional journey. And so that's what I'm doing now. And the first day that I committed to that for myself, because my body trusts me again, because I'm true to my word for my body now and have been since November. As soon as I picked up that book and started working on it and made the commitment to do it, I was able to get back on track with my weight loss program because my body trusts me that I'm going to do this trauma work. And I have been. So.
Wow. Yeah. Well, one, kudos.
Thank you.
And congratulations. And that's amazing. It took a lot for you to get where you are. So I really, really commend you and I'm inspired.
Thank you.
I know for me, what clicked me back, I was on the horse and I fell off and I was like, while I'm down here, let me go ahead. While I'm here, let me go ahead and have a couple of snacks.
Yeah, exactly.
What clicked for me was recently I was having a conversation with someone about weight loss, and I was talking about how I am on and then I'm off, and like I said earlier, and she said, "Oh, we'll get it.
Okay,
we'll get it together." And I don't know why that triggered me, but when she said, "Oh, we'll get there," it was like it snapped me out of. I guess I was a little delusional about where I was as far as fitness, because I had worked so hard and all this stuff. And then that really just snapped me back into getting back discipline. I literally wanted to drop down and do some push-ups right there. Like,
Wow. Awesome.
but it helped me to really rethink, okay, why did I stay here after I fell off? You know, it made me reevaluate where I was and why I'm not working as hard to get where I need to go. And I have been very, very committed to dealing with the emotional and mental part of that, and the mental and emotional trauma that comes with health. When your health is not doing good, that affects you mentally and spiritually and emotionally. I had a heart attack in 2017, and it was massive. When I came out and was in recovery, I was determined. I was so determined. And then when my stents closed a year after that, I started having survivor remorse. And then it happened a third time, and I said, okay. I said, okay, God, what is it that you need from me? What is it that I need to do? So I really became very intentional about working on myself so I can help other people, and getting over that feeling of imposter syndrome, as far, or not even imposter, I guess the imposter syndrome, because I didn't feel enough to be a speaker. I didn't feel enough, or I've accomplished enough, or I've done enough to help other people. I had to overcome that, because I was like, what am I saying to God? You know, because sometimes I get so focused on what I'm saying to myself, but I'm like, but what is this? How is this honoring or dishonoring God when I say this? You know, or when I respond in this way? Because I used to be like, oh, don't look at me, look at God. Oh, don't look at me, look at, you know. And I'm like, but he gave us the ability to do this, and not to be arrogant or boastful or anything like that, but to acknowledge your part in it. Acknowledge that you're a vessel, and the skills and the gifts and the knowledge and the know-how to be what he created you to be. So, and I feel like me not honoring where I am and what I've overcome and and accepting the call that he put on my life without judging myself, because he'll call us to, well, our purpose, and or we acknowledge, okay, well, I feel like this is my purpose, or I know God has called me to do this, but I'm not good enough. I know God called me to do this, but why did he call me? Because he know that I struggle with this, but that's exactly why he called you, because he need people to see you overcome it. How much more powerful are you, Jennifer, for going through the process yourself? Than just educating people and inspiring them. And I'm sure they walk away pleased, but it's so much more powerful when I was like, if I'm a client, to see that, oh man, look at what she's overcome. Look at what she's done. It's much more impactful and more powerful. And I'll often look at the people that God used in the Bible were all flawed.
Absolutely.
They were all flawed. And I just wanted to really speak on that imposter syndrome, or feeling like you're not enough. And like you were saying, feeling like you were a fraud. I wanted to speak to that, because it might be someone listening right now who is feeling that, and who have a problem moving forward in whatever they're called to do, but recognizing that he called you because you flawed.
Yeah.
He calls you because there's something that you can give that someone else can't. When I think about motivational speakers like E.T., Eric Thomas, and you have Tony Robbins, their walks are totally different.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make one better than the other. They minister. I mean, they reach two totally different audiences. It might be the same because I listen to both.
Oh, yeah. There's some overlap.
But I get something different from each of them. But it doesn't take away from the other. So I'm gonna get off my soapbox on that. But but I just wanted to make that point because I didn't want anyone to walk away, because I've even heard people who are poets or whatever say, well, I don't have education in this. Then that don't mean you can't be educated. You don't have to go to college to be educated. You can read some books on it. You can watch some tutorials, but
Yes, exactly.
but educate yourself on and master your craft. And that's what God wants you to do. If he put it on your spirit, it's because he wants you to do it. What is the greatest lesson you've learned about healing in your professional and your personal life?
Personally, definitely boundaries. Being able to set boundaries for myself and still love people without taking from myself. Definitely. And then professionally is to just do it. Just do the dang thing. Mel Robbins has a book. I think
Yeah, I
it's
like her.
something called like 5 seconds or whatever. And it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you just go and do the thing.
Yeah.
Just do the thing. Like if God's telling you to do something, if your heart is telling you to do something, there is a reason for it. So honoring that is just like honoring yourself and making those commitments to yourself. That's so important to keep. So that's probably professionally. It's just do it. Just do it.
Just do it. Yeah. Yeah. What was the key takeaway from your weight loss and your healing journey? The key takeaway.
Every day is a new day. Every meal is a new meal. Like if you fall away from the plan that you've designed for yourself or that a professional has designed for you, then just enjoy that moment. Don't deprive yourself of it. Don't feel guilty about it. Don't hurt yourself because of it. Just enjoy it and then get back on track.
And that goes for both.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What advice would you give someone who might be feeling hopeless on their healing journey?
Oh, I feel like that is really personal, because it really depends on in what way they're struggling in their hopelessness. But I would say that, I got close to 400 pounds and I had a handful of diagnoses that they don't really do a lot for to make your life better. And I was still able to overcome it. So if I can do it, so can you. And it's really just a matter of making really tiny steps. Like just, if you have a favorite shot glass, like let that be the gauge in which you start drinking your water and, make it fun. If you have a favorite water bottle, then do it that way. Just be present and be mindful for yourself and do the next best thing that you can.
Yeah. And that's for any part of your healing journey and knowing that you can heal.
Yes.
You're not hopeless. You're not, you are worthy. You are enough. And that's what I really feel like that's what life is about. It's about not just going through the motions of life, but being intentional about overcoming the hurdles. And because I don't I really feel like our strength comes from learning to jump those hurdles. There's a elderly lady, I don't know her name, well, there's several, but who's really into fitness. And there's a video where she started off and she tried to jump. It was like this obstacle thing that was set up for her and all these different workouts. And it showed her journey from really, really struggling to do it. And she, would fall, she would stumble. But it also showed her progression. And her progression then go from not falling and great at it. It started from her falling, then stumbling, then getting tripped up a little bit. And then as she continued working on it, she continued to get stronger and stronger until it got to the point of being effortless. And that reminds me of just this journey, this healing journey, and life in general, that sometimes we trip, sometimes we fall. There's going to be times that you feel like, man, this is hard. This is, we're dealing with a lot of things that deal with healing, whether it's trauma, whether it's health, whether it's, dealing with our emotions and realizing, I have insecurities. And, so we're constantly dealing with that. So, but I see a lot of people who feel like, man, I keep going through this over and over and over, and start feeling, helpless or hopeless about getting over it. And I just want to encourage them that just like the lady, or just like anyone who's trying something new, you're not going to get it right at first. It's going to be hiccups. It's going to be walls. It's going to be, but you have to keep trying. You really, really have to keep trying.
Just while you were talking, one of my best friends is doing a lot of really amazing healing work so that she can have a better quality of life right now. And when she runs into those battles and like has a moment of doubt or desperation or hopelessness, then she always says, wow, we really chose diamond level humaning. Because, diamond is like the toughest run in skiing. And so she's just right now just living a moment where this is like the toughest type of humaning that you can do. And just recognizing that this is really hard work and not a lot of people do it right now. And so that you're willing to try, you need to reward yourself, and you need to, pat yourself on the back, give yourself that high five, whatever special treat, non-food, is for you, then do it, because you deserve it, because you're working hard, and it's okay to feel stuck sometimes.
Yeah. And give yourself some grace.
Yes.
Give yourself some grace. So I was looking at your bio and all the things that you do. And I wanted to ask, as far as, if someone may not be in your location, if they are able to receive what services you offer online. You have an office and you also have online.
Yes. Yeah. So I do shape reclaimed and I'll do self reclaimed with anyone online. I can also do remote Reiki and kinesiology sessions. So pretty much the only thing that I can't do remotely is massage, because it just won't feel as
right.
good.
No, you won't feel it. Yeah. Okay, good. So can you tell us about, it's two different ones. You said the shape reclaimed program and the self-reclaimed. So
self-reclaimed is that thing that I had picked up back in, actually just a couple weeks ago. It's a book that's kind of like considered therapy in a box. It's all based in cognitive behavioral therapy. And so you can just buy the box. and work it yourself. You do work 33 tenets on your own to find limiting beliefs and then change them to limitless beliefs. It's really powerful. So it is designed to be a self-practice program, but I found much more benefit doing it with a team. So that's what I'm creating. My team and I are creating a program where you can actually come online, and there will be moderators and there will be cohorts where people can come together and share what they experienced for every single card. So since it's 33 tenets, it's going to be a 7-week long program. And it'll just be 5 days a week, so that there's kind of 2 days of that grace period, because you can't journal every day. It's just too much.
Yeah.
So that program is being created right now, and I'm going through it right now. So I will have been through it one time completely before I actually start offering it to people. And then in addition to the book, there'll also be like the online cohort. And then there will be opportunities to have one-on-one FaceTime with me specifically in that program as well.
Now, and you also have Shape Reclaim program, and that comes out in October?
No, the Self-Reclaimed comes out in October. The Shape Reclaimed is available now. That's the program
got you.
that I started in November in order to lose the weight. Its primary goal, the man who created it, Dr. Todd Fritsch, actually came up with it for his wife. He's a functional medicine physician, and he was helping hundreds of people in his practice every day. And his wife started going through menopause, and she was really grouchy about it. And she had gained 20 pounds and was just really unhappy with the situation. And so she came to him and she was like, how come you can help all these people and you can't help me? And he was like, well, challenge accepted. And so he did some research, and he put a combination of amazing homeopathic and naturopathic products together into this one convenient dropper bottle. And the two of them created the program, and it actually helped to eliminate all of her menopausal symptoms. And she was able to lose the 20 pounds that she gained because of menopause. And so she was like, well, you actually need to do something with this, because this is going to help a lot of people. And so Shape Reclaimed was born, and now I get to be a part of it. And I'm a practitioner, and I have 15 clients that are actively on the program. And I already have 3 people that have graduated from it, and all of them have met or exceeded their goals.
That one's 7 weeks too?
That one is actually 3 months.
Okay.
So a little bit longer.
Wow. I heard you say menopause, and I was like, yeah, I'm these hot flashes. Okay. So that is amazing. That is awesome. Is there anything before we go that you would like to share?
Well, I guess on a side note, because I've been doing all of this healing with my gut, I will also really stress the incredible importance of a good probiotic. That's not something that I really specifically talked about, or even talk about specifically in Self or Shape Reclaimed. So I will say that having a really good core bacteria in your gut can help a lot of inflammation. It can help a lot of anxiety. It can help a lot of stuff. So if you need help finding a good probiotic, let me know, because they're amazing.
Okay. And is it important to have a prebiotic too?
Yes, and it's definitely, I think it's better to have them to also be shelf stable. And when they are shelf stable, they have to have prebiotics in it, because if you think about what a probiotic is, it's just a bunch of beneficial bacteria. So when you buy those capsules that need to be refrigerated, they're saying that there's no prebiotic in there. So you have to put it in the fridge so that those bacteria go into hibernation mode and don't just eat each other. And we can't guarantee. Wow. Yeah. So we can't guarantee the quality of any probiotic that needs to be in the fridge, because if your grocery store clerk left those probiotics out all night by accident and then just put them in the refrigerator, odds are that is a nice pill of completely dead biotics. So having something shelf stable that has prebiotic in it means that those bacteria get to eat until they get into your belly.
So how do you know if it's shelf stable, and what is shelf stable?
So for a probiotic, shelf stable really just means that it has a prebiotic in it. But sometimes instead of having a prebiotic, they are freeze dried. So they're kind of like in a state of suspended animation. So they're not like alive, but they're not dead. And as soon as they hit your gut, they wake up and do their job. So it generally says it on the bottle. But I can also send you some really high quality products that I've used, because I always I've always been one of those learn the hard way kind of people. And so I've been through a couple dozen different types of probiotics to find the ones that have worked best for me. And some of the ones that didn't work for me work really well for some of my clients. So I do have a pretty good list of good ones.
Yeah, gut health is, I learned in my health journey that gut health is critical. Gut health and liver are very critical to, and every disease comes from either poor digestion, poor gut health, or poor liver, or both. So this was really good. So how can people get in touch with you?
So all my information is on my website. So I would just direct you to heartofpeacewellness.com. heartofpeacewellnessllc.com is the other one. They'll both take you to the same place. And it has all of the information of what I do and how to get in touch. I'm also on Facebook, facebook.com//Heart of Peace.
Well, Jennifer Haynes, thank you so much for joining us today. And not just that, but thank you for everything that you're doing to help other people live better and help others into wellness as well as yourself. And thank you for being a light and a vessel. I think your story is very inspiring, and I'll definitely be looking into more information about your programs and while I'm on my journey. And thank you so much for joining us on season 2.
I'm so happy to be here, honored. And if you ever need anything, please reach out.
Definitely. And to our listeners, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to tune in. I hope that you were able to get something from this episode. And if you enjoy it, please feel free to like, comment, and share. You owe it to yourself to heal and grow on purpose. Until next time, be blessed.
Thank you for tuning in to Let's Talk About Healing with Yvonne Pierre. We hope you enjoyed the show. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share.